No investors believe what we were trying to do, right? Like, what is this capsule hotels? Is this a tech startup? What is it that you're trying to do, right? I think the turning point there was having a great team and a great culture built around that team. Yeah. If we don't have that back then, I think we will not be here today. I think COVID will have killed us. We failed way too many times, right? And resilience kind of grew from that experience. And now I can embrace failure, big or small, better than success. It's never easy, right? Even though, you have to love what you're doing, you have to be passionate about it. Your 5-year plan's never gonna work out exactly the way you want it to be.
Welcome to the Impact Makers podcast, where we will be interviewing various key leaders and impact makers throughout our country, Indonesia. This podcast is brought to you by SPH Alumni Network and POV, Path of Visionaire. Today, we are thrilled to have Antonius Bong, co-founder of Bobobox and Cabin. I'm pretty sure you've heard of them. They are Indonesia's hospitality brand that is redefining smart, space-efficient, and nature-inspired travel experiences. From revolutionizing urban stays with high-tech sleeping pods to creating immersive cabin getaways, Antonius is on a mission to transform how we experience travel. In this episode, we will explore his journey from ideas to execution, the challenges of scaling disruptive business, and the mindset between innovation and resilience. Anton, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you, Grace?
Good. It's good to have you today. So I'm sure our listeners are really excited to get to know your story and glean from your wisdom. But I want to start with you as a student. So you went to SPH as a kid?
I did.
Okay. So would you share with me how you were as a student, maybe some special or fun memories you had when you were in SPH?
Yeah, I think I was a pretty good student. Didn't get to too many detentions. Maybe once in every few months I get one. Okay. Nothing that was too serious, but I really had fun as a student in SPH. Okay. Maybe a fun story that I could recall earlier was when I was in a math class. It was Palianto's math class. I don't know if you had him, but we had so much fun during that class. And looking back 25 years ago now, I actually feel really bad for him because we got him kicked out. Right, we got him kicked out from the school. Okay. Literally, because he was so kind. He was like the super patient, super kind, and we boys totally abused him. Oh, no. And looking back, it was a disaster actually. But if you ask me as a student, that was really fun. Like we would dip his markers in water so it wouldn't work in his whiteboard. Yeah. We would get his grading books and start correcting our own scores and changing all the scores. That was really wild, and I think a couple of months after that, Ben, removed him from. So if Palianto is listening to this, on behalf of class 2002, I would like to sincerely apologize. It was totally unacceptable. But if you ask me back then, was it fun? Totally.
Yeah. It's fun to explore and be creative and be mischievous. Awesome. Okay, so let's get into your journey of entrepreneurship. Yeah. So bring me on your journey from college to where you are now, building Bobobox and Cabin. Did you always want to be an entrepreneur in the hospitality world?
Yeah, I mean, the entrepreneurial spirit has always been there, I guess, since I was in college. I went to Melbourne. I moved to Melbourne from SPH in 1998. So I was in grade SMP 2 and moved there in grade 9. And I went to Melbourne University. I did accounting, finance, and information systems. And I knew then that entrepreneurial journey is the kind of journey that I want to live my life. But I didn't know whether it's going to be in hospitality or whatnot, right? So I spent 3 years after graduation working there, came back for good in 2009, helped out my parents for a few years, 2-3 years, and decided that I needed to get out of my comfort zone, wanting to have, start something of my own. Yeah. And that was when I entered the startup world. The first startup I did was a mobile game studio. So we developed like education apps, games, and we also developed third-party games for companies like Bandai, Namco Japan, and we did that for about 3 years. The company got acqui-hired, and I started the second company, which was female fashion e-commerce.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, this was 2014.
What was it called?
Cantik.com.
Cantik.com. Okay.
The company is no longer there today, so it was one of the failure stories that I got to learn a lot from. But it was definitely where we kind of understand from then on what kind of business and how I should build my business going forward, right? So in Cantik.com, there was a very fun 2-3 years where VC's money were pouring in, and we jumped into the bandwagon. It's e-commerce was a cool thing, and we went in without knowing what lies ahead, right? Just simply because everybody was doing it. The investors love growth, they love GMVs, and we were there just pushing our metrics to get that user acquisition, to get that growth, without really understanding the underlying unit economics behind it. And that was where the problem actually lies. On top of that, it was 2 guys running a fashion e-commerce, which wasn't such a good idea. So we failed epically after 3 years. One by one, slowly but surely, everyone in the industries in our fashion e-commerce industry were actually losing money and went out of business. So same thing, that was including us, right? So after that, it was kind of reality kind of kicks in, and I got married, had 1 kid, and I couldn't take that much risk. My risk tolerance was like really low at that time. Like I had to make this work. The next one has to be something that has like clear unit economics. You have real problems to solve. It has to be scalable, and something that I'll be passionate about doing, right? And it wasn't just hospitality. I did check out on agri-tech, edu-tech, and so on and so forth. But I did find this particularly interesting because this segment of hospitality is something that has not seen much developments, much innovations in the past decades. And we saw that there was so much that we can bring into the table, especially in the budget sector. Like if you ask me 4 years ago, before Bobobox, how do Indonesians have access to standardized, accommodation that has cleanliness, security, privacy, while being below 200,000 rupiah per night? There was no such solutions, right? There were many accommodations under 200K, but it doesn't offer all those things that especially female budget travelers are longing for. So that's where we came in. We saw that it was a big space, it was untapped, and if our solutions can be 10x better from the existing solutions, I think we have a good opportunity there. Yeah. So in end of 2017, we set up our first prototype. We obviously tested it, talked to our customers, iterate the design, and we launched the product. After 3 months, we developed two small pods just to test the market, and we were 99% fully booked for that 3 months.
Wow.
And that was when we thought, I think we had something here.
This is Bobobox, right?
This is Bobobox. It was so the company name is Bobobox, and the product that we developed is Bobopod.
Okay.
It's the capsule hotels. We tweaked the design a little bit because understanding the users that they don't want the capsule to be like one of those Japanese capsules that are really tiny. People feel like claustrophobic, bad air circulation. So we tweaked those aspects of the design and develop our own version of capsules where most travelers find it really comfortable.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting, and I love how you brought something that maybe you've experienced or you've seen outside of Indonesia into the Indonesian market. Were there any struggles when you were trying to design this concept in Indonesia?
Absolutely. I mean, start from the get-go, no investors believe what we were trying to do, right? Like, what is this capsule hotels? Is this a tech startup? What is it that you're trying to do, right? And even though I came from a startup background doing a couple of tech startups, I do believe that tech is there as an enablement into what we are trying to serve, how we can serve our customers better, right? And how we can make our process more efficient. So definitely not a pure tech play, but it's definitely something where tech plays a huge part in order for us to be able to serve our customers better. So in this case, the product itself, the main idea was how can we deliver all those value propositions that our customers are longing for below 200,000, right? So that was the main idea. And it wasn't easy because we had to challenge all the status quo, right? And we had to go back to the first principles where, if you are trying to serve someone under 200,000, our investors need to make money, our shareholders need to make money, our employees need to be able to get paid, right? So the solution to that was space efficiencies. How can we generate more revenue per square meters, right? And what aspects of the business can you actually get rid of, right? Can you actually deduce from, your concept? Like, we don't need the big lobbies, we don't need the high ceiling lobbies, we don't need restaurants. In terms of space, people are comfortable with, a king size bed in a capsule. They have good air circulations, air conditioning, exhaust, and things like that. So the most important parts are there, but we are deducing everything that are less relevant or not crucial, and pass that values and benefits to our customers, right? And it didn't start out, because we had that prototype I mentioned to you about, we are able to gain the interest from the investors. And that was when we decided to set up our first flagship.
Okay, and this is what year?
This was 2018, June 2018.
Okay, so it took about a year for you to go from the prototype to...
Yeah, about 7 months.
7 months. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So Bobobox has expanded beyond pods now, right? Pods into Bobo Cabin.
Correct.
So my question to you is, how did you decide when and how to pivot your business while staying true to your core vision?
Yeah, the true mission remains the same. We are trying to build a lifestyle company through sustainable practices. We would like to be able to tap into as many people as possible. So it has to remain affordable for most. But, COVID happened, right? In 2020, March 2020, I think this was when our president back then announced the first 2 cases of COVID. And that was really a tough moment for us. We were like, are we in the wrong business again? What have we done wrong? Like, what is this happening to us? And we didn't know how long that was going to be, right? So we waited a few months, I think 3 months, June, July 2020. We were only allowed to operate at 50% occupancy maximum. So, and we didn't know how long that was going to end. And we knew then that waiting wasn't a good strategy if we don't know how long it's going to last, right? And we knew back then that we need to come up with a solution, and we need to come up with it very quickly, right? And cabin has always been there as we mapped out these product verticals right at the start, but we don't want it to be a distraction because the pods were doing super well. We were in full speed going, expanding from one locations to the next, recruiting, hiring, and everything. And we don't want the cabin to be distractions up until COVID. That was when we realized, I think we need to go back to the drawing board and launch this product, right? So that took us another 9 months. So from July, we launched our first cabin in March 2021.
Okay.
We launched 2 cabins in south of Bandung and 2 cabins in north of Bandung. We tested 2 areas and we launched it. And the idea was actually to convert the campers from staying in a tent to our cabins, right? So all the bathrooms are outdoors. They're communal because campers, to begin with, they don't have a bathroom in their tent anyway, right? So we're trying to have that elevated experience for these campers, and it worked wonders. Well, it was perfectly fine up until the mass Jakarta market came in, right? And then we had, we are going from a niche market of campers to a mass market who would want to be pampered, right? That's when we got a lot of complaints. Why are you having your communal bathroom outside? Why can't we have ensuite bathroom and everything? And that was when we iterate and come up with more and more products.
So Bobo Cabin now has communal bathrooms or
yes,
individual bathrooms?
All the cabins now have ensuite bathrooms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
because
so
of the Jakarta
you have to go there.
Right? Okay.
And they all have better facilities now.
Okay. I'm just wondering, I'm just curious for myself, is there a big camper culture in Indonesia?
In Indonesia, huge camper cultures,
Okay.
I'm not one of them, right?
Yeah, neither am I, so I'm curious.
Right, which is why the cabin can happen, right? Because you feel like you can enjoy this nature without having to, sleep in the tent, showering, cold water. So we have all that amenities now, warm water, food, barbecue, and everything in the outdoor setup. So you get the comfort of being in a nice cabin while being out in nature as well.
Yeah, I really applaud you during the pandemic. It must have been a really tough time for everyone, but it was in that pandemic that you launched a new business.
Yes. So it was a blessing in disguise in a way, because it forced us to think outside the box. And I think the turning point there was having a great team and a great culture built around that team to influence their behaviors into, wanting to solve issues, solve problems, and come up with solutions after solutions. That innovative culture is so important. Like if we don't have that back then, I think we will not be here today. I think COVID will have killed us.
Yeah. You mentioned something really good about teams, and I'm just wondering the people that you surrounded yourself with during this time. Do you have mentors or perhaps peers that were mentors to you that helped you throughout your journey?
We were quite fortunate to have, back then it was called Sequoia India, led by Salendra Singh. So he was a mentor, and we worked very closely with him in the first 6 months upon him investing, and now it's called Peak 15. And that was when I actually learned most of my, the tips and tricks from, someone from his caliber, having seen, hundreds, if not thousands of businesses collapsing or succeed, right? So he kind of guided us on, how you should recruit, how you should retain, how you should build culture around it, and, how your vision is important, having that why people should join you, where, they can get more pay outside and things like that, right? So having that leadership, that skill to be able to recruit and retain and, get the best out of your team in order to achieve your dream, your goal, I think is super important. And I think after that, we did have few mentors from the Endeavor Network as well, but it was more of a networking type of communities where, we get to, meet the who's and who's in Japan, who's and who's in Australia, because they're a global platform. And as we are looking at the international market, they become very helpful.
Yeah. Were there any insights from these mentors that have been in your life that like really stuck with you?
I think one of it is resilience. That kind of, I was kind of, if you were to ask my wife, what is one thing that you see from Anton? I think it's one of its resilience, because we failed way too many times, right? And resilience kind of grew from that experience. And now I can embrace failure, big or small, better than success. And I think having that resilience is so important for, every entrepreneurs, right? Especially those that just graduated wanting to start his own business. It's never easy, right? Even though, you have to love what you're doing, you have to be passionate about it. Your 5-year plan's never gonna work out exactly the way you want it to be. So having that resilience to get up in every struggle is so important. Let's focus a little bit on resilience. How do you maintain resilience but also have the flexibility to change when the plans don't work out? Yeah. I think it's very important to draw the line whether, are you on the right track? I think the word resilience is that grit of getting back up. Doesn't necessarily going back to where you were, right? It can means navigating and evolving through times, right? It can means letting go of some of your team members and recruiting new ones, right? And it takes a lot of resilience to be able to do that, right? People who don't have resilience will just sit there and stay at where they are, doing the same thing over and over again, even though it doesn't work anymore, it's not relevant anymore. I think being able to be agile enough is also part of being resilient. Yeah. And it sounded like you need a lot of that to be able to innovate and... Definitely, pivot and things like that. Correct. So, you've shared a lot about resilience, which seems like it's a big life lesson for you as an entrepreneur. Just kind of to close out this conversation, for you, what makes an impactful business? Okay, I think we need to first define who are the stakeholders, right, in the business itself. We obviously have our customers whom we would like to serve from our products, and the more people can experience your products, the more impactful it's going to become. But we can't also forsake the employees behind it, the society as a whole, your shareholders, your family, right, at home. So these are all part of your circles that for you to be impactful in your whatever you're doing in life, you need to make sure that there are these people that you need to take care of. There's these people who you need to be able to quote unquote satisfy in a way, right? So having that balanced mindset is so important for your business to be impactful and yet remain sustainable, right? You don't want to only be serving your customers, forgetting your investors. You don't want to be out there working 24/7 or 996 in China, forgetting about your families at home. I think having that 360 view on a holistic view on your life as a person, as a businessman, as an entrepreneur is very important to make an impactful life and impactful business.
Yeah. I love that you see it's not just about the business, but it's about being an impact in every area of your life.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
Which is amazing. Okay, my last question to you. For those that are just entering into entrepreneurship or entering into the hospitality world, do you have any words of wisdom?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, make sure you love what you're doing or try to fall in love into what you plan to do, right? Because if you don't love what you're doing, it's going to be very hard to you to perform at your best, right? You're not going to give out the best version of yourself, and somebody out there is just going to, disrupt your business when they love their job more than you. So that's going to become a problem. So love what you're doing. I think the second one would be, I mentioned resilience. Keep that in mind. I know it doesn't come naturally, right? You learn some of resilience in school, going through exams and things like that, but nothing beats real life experience as an entrepreneur of failing here and there. I think that needs to be built, and hiring the best team right from the get-go, and make sure you have the culture, the right strong culture in place to make sure that it fits within your organizations to execute your strategy, right? So there's no right and wrong in terms of building culture, but you want your culture to be one that is fit and aligned with your company's goals and how you're going to get there. Right?
I think we need to have a separate session on like how to build the right team, how to build the right culture.
I think that's another podcast, right?
Yeah, I'm going to have you back soon. Anyways, thank you so much, Anton, for your time. I think we've gleaned a lot of wisdom from you.
Likewise. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope this conversation has inspired you to take another step forward in your journey of making a positive impact in your sphere of influence. Please hit the subscribe button to stay in tune for our next episode.